Do you see how Ghislaine Maxwell is dragging Donald Trump into a political nightmare? He is being outmaneuvered at every turn. This all began just last week when Pam Bondi, the DOJ and the FBI released a memo declaring the absent case closed. No files, no further investigation, nothing to see. Then over the weekend, Trump pivoted and claimed the entire absence story was a hoax manufactured by Democrats, Obama, and the Clintons. Even James Comey, almost immediately pro-Maxwell voices, many of whom are also mega influencers, stated echo- echoing that narrative. Some of these same figures were at the White House back in February, holding up binders labeled with Phase 1 of the absent list. That was around the time Pam Bondi claimed to have the absent file sitting right on her desk. They began arguing if Donald Trump is calling the absent file and absent list a hoax, something made up by Democrats or whoever, then Ghislaine Maxwell should be granted a retrial or even pardon. After all, if the list does not exist, and then there are no co-conspirators, whether you go by the DOJ's explanation or Trump's, the conclusion is the same. Let hear out. That's the narrative they are pushing. And now Trump has backed himself. Now into a corner because deep down he is likely knows Ghislaine hold the real secret. She knows exactly where the bodies are buried. Ghislaine Maxwell knows where the list is. She has the files and in my opinion she is reminded Donald Trump of that again. Just yesterday, I firmly believe she knows exactly where the bodies are buried. Now, follow how this all unfolds. Influencers, including some who were recently at the White House, being posting about the need for a retrial or even a pardon for Ghislaine. Then, Allen, Epstein, former lawyer and also former attorney for Trump, starts publicly suggesting that Ghislaine deserves either a retrial or a pardon, or at least reduced sentence, urging that 20 years is excessive. Shortly after Ghislaine's own family released a public letter reaching those same calls. Hey Donald, horror you deeds. That's essentially the message coming from Ghislaine Maxwell family. They are referring to the deal struck back in 2017 by your former Labor Secretary Alice Acosta, who at the time was U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida. Acosta entered into an prosecution agreement with Jeffrey Epstein, stating that not only would the federal government not prosecute Epstein, but they also would not go after any of his alleged co-conspirators. Yet, despite that agreement, Ghislaine Maxwell, a named co-conspirator, was prosecuted. That 2007 to 2008 was structured to defer any potential prosecution to the state level. So, who was Attorney General of Florida during much of that time? Pam Bondi, someone firmly within Trump's political orbit. The connection is clear. Maxwell family is now appealing to US Supreme Court, urging that the federal government violated its own deal and calling on Trump and his allies to stand by the agreement made by their own people, Acosta, Bondi, and others. And then what happened? Just yesterday, the Wall Street Journal dropped a bombshell report. Bombshell report. If you follow the timeline, it all begins to make a lot of sense. Again, just my opinion, but the pattern here is too hard to ignore. In the Wall Street Journal article, They revealed they had obtained a leather-bound birthday book that Ghislaine Maxwell had put together for Jeffrey Epstein. Fifth birthday back in 2003. The book was filled with personal notes from Epstein's inner circle. People like Allen, Donald Trump, and other wealthy and influential men, as follow as few women. Many of these messages were described as crude or suggestive. One particularly disturbing detail was note from Donald Trump, which according to the article include a doodle of a naked woman. This revelation reportedly rattled Trump, especially given the context and timing of the report. There was also a type note from Donald Trump included with the doodle of naked woman. According to report, Trump signed his name right where the public area of drawing would be. It's hard not to see that as disturbing, in my opinion. And I want to be clear, this is just my take. This leak feels like a calculated warning shot from Ghislaine Maxwell or some close to her. Maybe it was coordinated by the team, a family member, or someone following earlier instructions she gave. I did not know exactly what she could orchestrate from prison, but if I had to guess who leaked that letter to the Wall Street Journal, I would say it was either Ghislaine or someone acting on her behalf. The message seems clear. I know where the bodies are buried, and this could just be the beginning. More could be released if needed. Strategically, leaking it to the Wall Street Journal was smart. Trump can easily dismiss outlines like the New York Times or the Washington Post as fake news, but the journal is owned by Rupert Murdoch, someone Trump is closely tied to. That gives it more weight in his world. That's why I believe they choose that outlet specifically to make sure Trump could not brush it off. As for the context of the note itself, it was styled like a third person dialogue between Trump and Epstein. The fact that was buried in a personal birthday gift Maxwell created for Epstein in 2003 raises serious question, especially about who had access to it and how many people even knew it existed in the first place. In the leaked letter, there is strange third person style dialogue between Trump and Epstein. It starts with narrative saying, there must be more to left than having everything. Trump responds, yes, there is, but I will not tell you what is it is. Epson replies, nor will I since I also know what it is. Trump says, we have certain things in common. Jeffrey, to which Epson responds, yes, we do. Come to think of it, Trump continues, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? The absent answer. As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. Trump closes the message with a palace, a wonderful thing. Happy birthday. And may every day be another wonderful sacred. Other wonderful sacred. Think about that. And other wonderful sacred. Enigmas never age. Epson was already running a known sex trafficking ring of underage girls around that time. What do you think they mean by having things in common? What secret? Are they referring to? It's chilling when you put it in the context. And what's Trump's defense? He denies ever dreaming anything, saying, I do not doodle, as if that discredits the letter. But everyone's seen his past, charity sketch, and drawings. He is clearly grasping the straw. Meanwhile, Ghislaine Maxwell just dropped bomb in his lap, and Trump is scrambling. This seems like calculated move to rattle him. And if Ghislaine can hold things like this over Trump, ask yourself, what do you think Vladimir Putin has? What about Xi Jinping? If someone like Ghislaine can beat him easily, imagine the kind of leverage global power might have. And remember when Hillary Clinton, back when she was Secretary of State, said, if you can be vetted by tweet, what do you think Putin doing to him? That line hit even harder now. So, how does Trump respond? He reacts straight to social media. Panic, defense, and once again, off balance. Donald Trump responded by saying the Wall Street Journal published a fake letter supposedly from the me to the Epstein. Those are not my words. That's not how I speak. And for the record, I do not draw. I told Rupert Murdoch it was a scam and wanted him not to run the story. He ignored me. Now I am going to sue both him and his third rate newspaper. Thank you for your attention to the matter. DJT. Oh, really? You do not draw Donald. Funny because the Trump has been known for his doodles. In fact, he is publicly auctioned off his sketches in the past. It's part of his persona. So the sudden claim that he does not draw, it does not exactly hold up. Donald Trump was known for sketching New York City skyline and notability. He was also known to draw chest women's chest, something he reportedly did at even or parties. That might have been a red flag too. In fact, during his campaign, Donald Trump mentioned in his book, Never Give Up, that it only takes him a few minutes to sketching something. In my case, it's usually a building, a cityscape, or a skyscraper, and then I sign my name. It ends up rising thousands of dollars to support food pantries and feed the hungry in New York. So even in his own book, Trump openly acknowledged that he draws frequently. In 2017 article titled Growing Up Trump, how Donald Trump early interaction with Jewish community helped shape the man and president he became. The focus is on how his informative experience with the Jewish individual influenced his personal and political development. One of the Donald Trump college friend, Robert Kennedy, the academic major who sat beside him in class, recalled Trump frequently doodling during lectures. The Wall Street Journal conducted an in-depth investigation into the birthday book in question, detailing contribution from various individuals, including those who helped assemble and bind the leather-bound volume. They even named the book-binding company involved, adding further credibility to the story. As for Trump defense that he does not talk like that, it's worth remembering this is the same person who once infamously said on tape that being rich allowed him to grab women by their genitals. Later, under deposition, he confirmed those remarks. So when he claims, I do not speak like that, it's hard to take seriously. Here's the clip that prove it.
And you say, and again, this has become very famous in this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet, just kiss.
And then you said, this clip has become infamous. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet, just kiss. I do not ever wait. And when you are star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the you can do anything. That's what you said, correct? Trump replies, well, historically, that's true with stars. So you are saying it's true that star can grab woman by the Trump responded, if you look over the last million years, I guess that been largely true, not always, but largely true, unfortunately or fortunately. Then you are asked, you consider yourself to be a star? Trump, I think you could say that yes. So, where does this all lead? What's the end game? In my view, Ghislaine Maxwell is clearly angling for pardon, and Trump may have already handed her a golden ticket toward a retrial. Let's break that down. First, the retrial angle. Trump publicly calling the Epstein files a total and complete hoax. He is claiming everything tried to Epstein is made up. So, from Ghislaine's perspective, if the former president who had control over DOJ and FBI claims to have reviewed the evidence and say it all fake, when is she in prison? Second, Trump is the same person once fired FBI Director James Comey, demonstrating his willingness to interfere with the investigation. When you connect the dots, it looks like Trump may have already paved the way of Ghislaine to question the legitimacy of her prosecution. Donald Trump has been claiming that the Epstein sex trafficking ring is a hoax and blaming James Comey for orchestrating. So, if you are Ghislaine Maxwell, what argument do you make in court? You say, hold on a second. The President of the United States is claiming the entire Epstein case is fabricated by father of the lead prosecutor who put me in prison. That prosecutor is Marine Comey, James Comey's daughter. She led the prosecution in both the Epstein and Maxwell case. Trump not only fires James Comey, but now he is alleging Comey's entire family was part of the conspiracy to take him down. From Ghislaine's perspective, that's communication. Her legal team and could urge. If the president, the head of the federal government and DOJ says this was all a political hoax, then how may convicted stand? The prosecutor's own father allegedly created this hoax. It's the perfect setup for her to demand a retrial or even a dismissal. Now on the issue of pardon. When Trump chief spokesperson Caroline was asked directly whether Trump would pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, she dodged the question. She do not say no, just move on with. Next question. The refusal to deny it speak volume, which leads to the broader implication. I believe Trump is holding the door open for pardon in exchange for Ghislaine's silence. And Ghislaine, in turn, is playing the long game, leaking just enough to remind him what she knows. It's slow burn, drip, drip, drip. She is saying, give me a retrial or grant me a pardon. Here's what the Trump spokesperson Caroline said when pressed on issue. Roll the clip.
Caroline, one more on.
Elizabeth,
Will the
go
president
ahead.
consider pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell if the Epstein case is a hoax?
Okay, I'll start off with.
Caroline, one more question. Will the president considering pardon Ghislaine Maxwell in connection to Epstein case? That's where it cut off. But honestly, her silence say a lot. She did not say no. She did not even try to clarify. She just dodged it. And here's what else Ghislaine Maxwell is likely to urge next, that the FBI tampered with surveillance footage and other key evidence. She will point to video recently released by the Trump administration that was alleged take outside Jeffrey Epstein prison cell. At first, it appeared to be missing 1 minute, but upon further scrutiny, it turned out 3 times were missing, raising serious question about the integrity of the evidence. Maximum legal team will use this to urge that the footage was manipulated under Trump's DOJ and that her trial was compromise. As a result, all of his builds towards her push for either a retrial or a pardon. And it might not have even been footage from Jeffrey Epstein's cell. It could have been from an entire different cell. Reporters suggest the video was actually a mash-up stitched together using Adobe Premiere rather than a raw surveillance footage. Ghislaine Maxwell will likely urge that the entire case is riddled with the fraud and manipulation, echoing Trump's own claim the Epstein saga is a hoax. From her perspective, it gives her a strong narrative. If the president himself says the files are fake, why is she in prison? And look at Trump's response, denying he draws and talks that way. But the letter to Epstein seems very much like Trump, and denying it only makes him look more desperate. I think Ghislaine has real leverage here. She is applying pressure and it's working if she has more debt. And I believe she does. We are only seeing the beginning. We will have to keep an eye on how far this goes. But to me, it's looking pretty clear. She consulted him.